All right, welcome to another episode of CAS Minute. Today we're in part 2 on the topic of designing a social media content calendar for your CAS firm. So, in the first episode, we talked about the importance of it, defining goals, and then building out your content calendar. Today, let's start with tools for managing and automating your calendar. So, there are specific social media management platforms like Buffer, Hootsuite, Sprout Social to help you schedule and automate your posts. You can also use these platforms to monitor engagement, track analytics, and then to adjust your strategy as needed. We talked about A/B testing in the first part of this series, and I think these tools can be really helpful for that. Personally, I don't use any of them. I utilize a content calendar built out in Notion to help me keep track of how and when my content is going out, and I use that in conjunction with the LinkedIn scheduling tool. So you can schedule out posts based on when you want to adhere to your content calendar. The one additional item that I use for analytics purposes is Shield. Shield app is a LinkedIn specific platform to help you track and monitor those analytics related to your posts. Hey, are posts with an image performing better than a video? Or are text posts doing well? What are the topics that are trending in my posts? I think that's a really helpful element just to create a feedback loop to help you better understand what direction you should be going and what resonates with your target market. When you have a centralized content calendar built out using something like Notion, Trello, Airtable, or even Google Sheets, you should utilize that in order to organize the topics, posting schedules, and then deadlines you may have set for yourself within this content calendar. It's not the end of the world if you don't adhere to it 100% because oftentimes we're not hiring outsourced folks to manage this on our behalf. However, by having it, it will start to create a rhythm and a muscle for you in order to post more regularly. It's also helpful to collaborate with your team. If they want to jump in on it, you need to equip them with the right assets in order to create that more holistic brand experience for your target market. When we think about measuring and analyzing performance, accountants tend to get really deep on ROI. What's the ROI of my time and or money spent in advertising or posting on these channels? I think that is a really narrow-minded way to think about measuring performance as it relates to social media content. It may be very rare that you can actually create a direct attribution of increase in revenue to your posts on social media. It's just hard. Now, you may be able to do that more specifically if you're doing things like ad posts on Google or Meta, and you can see direct click-through rates and conversions. However, that's not often how the buyer journey works in professional services. And so I like to think about this through the lens of, is my investment yielding awareness of who we are and what we do? And there can be some degree of attribution in that relative to how many referrals you may be receiving. And so every firm is different, but if you're starting to see momentum, which may take 3, 6, 9 months to build, you will be able to see some of that performance, and ideally it's translating to revenue. That said, don't get too hung up on the ROI calculation. Lastly, I've seen some great CAS firms produce some awesome content. I think one of the most interesting examples I've seen is Acuity on how they post on social media. They've got an active TikTok presence with a TikTok star on their leadership team. It's really fun. It's engaging. I think it serves multiple purposes, and it educates their target market, their prospective clients. It's really engaging for prospective employees, and it helps really display their culture. I think that it's a really good place to start if you're looking for examples on firms doing this really well. Acuity's doing great. I'm also seeing really good stuff from Brandon Hall. He's been posting consistently for quite some time, and they've built almost their entire revenue model around social media posting, podcasting, things of that nature. So check those out. Check out Hall CPA and Acuity for good examples on how CAS firms are utilizing social media in order to generate revenue, grow their practice, and create awareness in the market. I think it's a fantastic place to start. I think you should be starting to think about how to get active on social media because buyers and recruits are spending more and more time on these platforms. I hope that's helpful. Till next time.